So this module is going to be a little bit more of the objective, like what we actually do, what we actually say. These are like the tools to control belief, to change belief, to rewire people's behaviors. So you can actually ethically guide your buyer to buy without fear, or without overwhelm, without I need to think about it. Okay. So the core concept we're going to cover is people's states, the state they're in, the sum of their physiology, focus, and internal dialogue, their state. And every buying decision is state dependent. They need to be in a. That's why we want them at the laptop, ready to go, ready to buy, right? If you shift the state, you shift the decision. It matters, the environment. That's why a lot of times the business offices are like in sky rises with huge windows, big tables. And this is all based off scientific foundations of somatic marker hypotheses. So, like, emotions are the true drivers of rational decision making, right? And that states equal people's state is the real time chemical shifts happening. Like, it's the cortisol, dopamine, adrenaline, all at once. So the brain justifies what it already feels. So if a prospect is in a low resource state, they're anxious, they're tired, they're groggy, they won't buy, like, even if the logic is sound. So your number one role as a closer is to shift the prospect's state before pitching anything. They need to be in a state of confidence, clarity, to make a decision. So what I've noted down here, some of our students have said on calls that we've identified for NLP sessions, or before we move forward, I want to pause. Like, what's the feeling that will make this a full body yes for you? Let's shift the energy for a second. Like, just close your eyes, breathe with me, like, chill. Like, what would it feel like to finally be moving forward with clarity? Sometimes these questions are hard to pull, but for some prospects, they need this. They need to just slow down for a little bit sometimes. I want to also share with you the swish pattern. Did a lot of digging on this, but because it's interesting, it's all about rewiring people's emotional trigger process, and especially when building neuro triggers. Probably going to be the course title. Um, it's I think a lot of people's minds, like emotions and memories, are really visual, and especially if you want to take people, like selling a fitness offer and you want people to have a great body, or business offer, make money with ecom, and you want them to imagine them having a lot of money or being successful. You can't just let them imagine having a six-pack or being successful. You need to actively let them live in it. They already have a six-pack, they already have a business. What does that feel like? So empower them with identity-based images, right? It's like Hebbian learning and neuroplasticity. It all says neurons that fire together wire together, right? So use this to like remove emotional charge from price objections, or interrupt stories like "I'm not ready, I always fail, I've tried before," with associations that are positive, right? You need to first identify the limiting image. Like, what do you picture when you think of investing in this? And then reframe the state. Imagine that shrink. Imagine that going away. What would make that float away? And replace it with visualize the moment you show up and finally feel empowered, right? Where you are, XYZ need to be, right? Your version of yourself 6 months out, that's already executing, it's already winning. What would they do in this situation? You need to live in it, right? And this visual to touch, like feeling, this visual kinesthetic dissociation, like detaching emotion from past pain, is difficult to do when, and everyone deals with trauma, right? That's like one of the biggest driving factors for people who want to succeed, or people that want to invest in their own growth. So VKD, visual kinesthetic dissociation, it separates the visual memory of a past experience from the emotional charge, and it's how we detach from fear, trauma, and hesitation. So it's perfect for prospects who have tried other programs and failed. Were burned by past investments, burned twice, where they keep referring to like last time. But you help them reframe, right? Shift the meaning behind the experience and change the emotional response. Was it them or the company? Were they the only one that failed, or did other people fail as well? Did anyone succeed? Is this active conflict? Did they put their all into that? Did it really go all in? Were they also unsure of afraid? Right? Because every prospect has two voices, like the visionary and the saboteur. Like they sabotage everything they want to do and everything they've done in the past. And it grabs from the recollection of all the bad stuff and experience from the past that it doesn't allow them to move forward. So you need to create this new identity for them. And then allow that to speak. Allow that to grow. So NLP lets you bring them to the surface and it unifies them. So, mini version examples I put are, so like sounds like a part of you really wants to go for this and another part is like still unsure or afraid. Like you're just calling them out and being like, hey, what's really holding you back? And if both parts had a positive intent, want to grow, want to protect, like what would they need to hear to work together? You let them know, hey, you're these two. What are we going to do now? So use these patterns to shift your beliefs and their beliefs and interrupt their fear, indecision, emotional hesitation, using language and visualization of where they want to be. And you can't paint this picture for them if you have in your exploration section of your sales call, you haven't dug deep enough. You can't get there. So you need to do awesome. You need to ask the great questions. Like I said, not just ask surface level questions, but deep questions as well. So you can actually reframe these limiting beliefs the right way. So there's alignment. You can't reframe it to something that's not aligned with what they want. Right? And yeah, this will get clients to move out of the past and into a future self-identity so they can confidently say, yes, let's do it.